to understand your thinking. You become what you think. Our thinking. Evolution has programmed us with the ability to think so we can survive. But now, our thinking has become our worst enemy. 1 minute, thinking make us like yourself, and next minute you dislike yourself. Probably wasn't like that for the hunter-gathering when everything was just about surviving. But what went so wrong? Our brain and thinking are not designed to live in this modern society. Far from it. Our thinking and brain are designed to live in small groups of about 100 people, where the days were spent getting food and shelter and defending themselves from danger. That's what our brain and thinking are still programmed for. We don't hunt for our own food anymore. We don't have to think about shelter and that there are no lions in the bushes. We modern humans simply have too much time to think about ourselves and our own importance. Thinking has become a new type of disease. The brain is not programmed for this life we live today, such as consuming an insane amount of different activities, junk food, stress, achievements, mobile phones, social media, violence, film, negative news, alcohol, and that we constantly create drama between ourselves. The mind becomes sick from all the negative things we consume in our lives. And then we become scared of our own sick thoughts. I shouldn't think like that. No, what a sick thought. I shouldn't have this thought. I must be sick. There are no sick thoughts. There are only thoughts. A thought is not real. You are not sick because you have sick thoughts. But when you react to a negative thought, you are harming yourself. Your thoughts are like the sun. When you get the sun in your eyes, you see nothing. Your thoughts obscure your view of experience, who you really are as a person, beyond your thoughts. When we try to avoid thinking negative thoughts, it's only getting worse. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire. When we stop giving our thought our intention, then we can achieve mental balance. We humans constantly strive to be good enough and straighten our social status by buying different things and achieving different things that we post photos of on the social media to get likes, so we can feel good about our self-image. Hunter and gatherings would probably laugh loud if they saw how we do it. And we trigger our reward system hundreds of times in a day with all the things that we consume to be happy. No, it's not strange that all that our thinking has turned against us and that our thinking make us sick. Modern man constantly think about what other people will think about me. Like a child, you were almost thoughtless. You laugh and cried every now and then. Then the programming of your thinking begin. Your brain is like a computer. The program that your environment puts in the first 7 years is what you become as a person. And you already know everything about what that program contains. Upbringing with love or no love. School, desire, achievements, rich, thin, and successful. Were you programmed as a child by emotionally immature parents who didn't give you any love? Then you lack a big lack of love in your life. A broken person from the very beginning without love. Not a good start in life for a child. But we cannot choose our parents. We got who we get. This is where society should step in and take more responsibility. responsibility for every citizen and child of society to learn everything about to get to know themselves and how to learn to manage their own thoughts, feelings and behavior from the beginning of life. 24/7 there come automatic thoughts in the brain and the mind all day long. The thoughts are like a river of water that constantly flow through our head, and we like to have a bath in this river, and we become completely consumed by these thoughts which harm us. From the moment you wake up in the morning until you get to bed at night, your mind gives you hundreds of automatic stories about everything. And you think you are the one thinking all this garbage in your mind. But you're not. And you are hypnotized by your thoughts. Your thoughts feel so real. So it must be me who's thinking everything in my head. When we believe all the thoughts in our head to be true, we literally lose ourselves in unconsciousness. There's a big difference between you as a thinker and the thought that comes from the mind completely automatically. Thoughts that come in your head that have to do with practical things and planning in our lives are good thoughts we need. When I say that we should not believe our thoughts, it only applies to all the judgmental thoughts, evaluating thoughts about who you are as a person, and all the fantasy stories that the mind makes up about everything and everyone all the time. When we don't want to think, and we still think, it's our mind and the brain that give us all these different thoughts, stories, value, judgment, imagines, fantasies. We ourselves have nothing to do with this, except that we believe that it is we who think all these sick fantasies. We have lived in our thoughts our entire life, so we believe in all the thoughts and little stories that come to our mind as our thoughts. And we are very good to start fantasies even more as soon as a story appears in our head. We spin the story in our head into the world of fantasy, where there can be any sick story. All the stories are just thoughts of the mind, which is purely automatic function of the brain that is constantly producing thoughts for us. So all this junk thinking in our head only belongs to our automatic mind. So you literally becomes what you think if you believe every thought your minds give you. If you think crap, you feel crap. If you think love, you feel love. Constantly the mind is either in history or in the future, looking for something to hang on to, obsess over, to get irritated about. At the same time, the mind reacts, values, judge everything that comes to our six senses organs. So the mind is very busy all day long, telling you the different stories about who you are, about how other people are and what life is. And in the midst of this stream of thoughts, we live and believe that we are the one thinking all these sick little stories. Why you suffer is because you believe in all these thoughts, imagines, fantasies, little stories that the minds give you all the day. And even in the night you lie awake. You have a voice in your head that comments on everything that comes to you. And that voice makes you sick. You are not the voice in your head. The voice in your head is just different thoughts. You exist beyond the voice in your head. When we learn to stop listening to and believe all these different thoughts, images, sick fantasies and stories in the minds, we can live in awareness. It is a great liberation. But how easy is it? Yes, it is a matter of daily training in meditation, in awareness. Your ego is your false self-image, which means that you are completely hypnotized by all thoughts from the mind that gives you a mental valuation image of who you are. You cannot be an evaluating thought, But you know nothing else, because no one has said anything about how your thinking works until now. Primarily, it is our negative considering voice in our head that usually comes from our early childhood that harms us. We heard terrible things about ourselves from our surroundings when we were children, and terrible words from other children when we were children. From the time I wake up until I go to bed, I practice awareness. Every time a sick thought comes, a negative story from the mind about who am I think out loud to myself, the storyteller, the storyteller. I make my fantasies come true from the mind. I don't believe the thoughts of the mind that the minds give me, and I take back my awareness in reality. When you stop believing in your thoughts and learn to observe them without reacting and identifying with them as my thoughts, and just let the thoughts pass like clouds in the sky up into your head, you are a conscious person, free from your mental prison. Every thought that comes into your mind wants your attention. That's how the function of thinking is created. Every thought wants to make you step right into the world of fantasy, and there you lose yourself. Whatever you do, don't believe any story, any thought that the minds give you about who you are. The techniques later in this course will help you with that task better, so you become a pro and master of your own thoughts. Now we go to the next chapter, and what is our ego?